Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. We are under the influence of the gate 24, which is the gate of returning. It is an ajna center gate, so it's a mental gate, and it is a lot of mental energy that we're going to experience this week, or probably already experiencing. And all energies can show up as very positive or can show up as very negative too. So just beware that this is the gate of the mind. That means that you might have like obsessive thinking about something. And here's where being discerning about what you give energy to is so important, especially with the mental energy, with the chatter, because we have the power to sometimes say, why am I thinking about this? Question your mind, because the mind is designed to answer questions. So it's good sometimes to kind of trick it instead of letting it overwhelm you with some fixation on something that can be very uncomfortable because it's looking for the answer. But maybe you're not meant to find the answer because it's just not important or relevant to you and you're thinking about those things. So watch out this week, because this is the kind of negative shadow way of this gate. The gate is called the gate of returning, and it's all about rationalizing. So it's like returning back over old grounds again and again, saying, what went wrong or right, or whichever way it went. So we're just trying to constantly, literally fixating until you find the answer. So if you are rationalizing and thinking about something that is relevant for you, and that's where we have Earth grounding us in the gate of alertness. And this is a really, really good combination, because it adds, this is a spleen gate, and it adds this intuitive, being able to intuitively spot the patterns or trends that are emerging. And I am definitely experiencing this week. Last week I published my second book. I'm so excited. It went really, really well. And I said, no more books. The moment I published it, I said to my husband, Jim, no more books. And I'm already outlining the third one. Not just outlining, I am dictating chapters. My mind is so on it, because intuitively I can see, and I can see how this transit is showing. Intuitively, I got the answer on what area needs to be expanded from the previous book, so now I can expand that. So I'm allowing these, downloads to come. There is a lot going on in my head, and when I was preparing for this recording, I thought I'm going to talk about myself because it's like an example. Right? And this is exactly what is happening in general. It's a lot of mental energy. You're processing, rationalizing what's good, what's not, how can I do something out of the ways that I always did in my mastery, so to speak? How can I express myself in new ways? How can I find inspiration? Because this is an energy that you're going over old grounds, but you can get stuck in that. It's that energy of doing the same thing and never moving out of the sameness. And that can be very heavy, and there's no progress in that. So what I was thinking is, how can I either validate what I'm doing, that what I have done is something that is, it really works, and it's something that other people are doing, and I just keep getting these answers from the universe, and in the form of a book, a podcast episode, someone else I know, and I'm like, okay, we're not unique here. We're independently coming up to this pattern. That's the gate 44, spotting the pattern. There's a pattern of a different way of being, right? So how can we now express this? And I can see that how, I'm reading a book about somebody who, the book I just released, Visibility That Sells, literally explains the same approach to visibility. Like, I'm reading a new book and I'm saying, oh, this is great. This is the validation. So how can I express this thing that's validated in a new way? How can I package it in a new way? Because this is the energy of the week. And the other thing as well, because it's so mental, it's so easy to go into mental overdrive and be really tired. So it's really good to rest. This is not the time to take action. Depending on defining what taking action is. So for example, for me, I'm not going to probably sit down and write this book during this transit, but I'm definitely capturing all the insights. I have a notebook with me. When I don't have a notebook, I send myself WhatsApp notes, voice notes. If I need to talk about this, I have a dictation app if I feel like I have more time. I went for a dog, for example, a dog walk today in the park, and I just sat on the bench there and dictated, because something was coming out. Is this the actually ready to go into the book content? I don't think so. But the editing, the polishing, all the other action, the publishing can take place later. Right now, it's really important that we take this, the insights, that are coming in. And then the harmonic gate is also the gate of the head center 61, which is like a download. It's a gate of mystery of or inner truth. It's such an amazing mystical connection gate. So there is more downloads that can come in. There's much faster pace that the mind can work in if you have that gate in your design. I actually don't, but for you. So flashes of inspirations, you are downloading. Your goal this week is to just capture those insights. The action on these insights can happen later because it's not about doing it all in one go. So that's where a lot of overwhelm can happen because we think we need to do things just as the idea comes and then we get so overwhelmed. But we don't. We can park, the doing and just work on the ideation, and then something else that is at the stage of completion can be completed, so we can work. And I really love that. It's another thing I just picked up in another book I was reading about a conveyor belt approach to visibility. So some things are doing conveyor is like when different machines are doing different things, but it's all happening at the same time. So there's much more productivity, more outcome. And I think that this is such a great way to approach everything because you don't have to necessarily overwhelm yourself to say, oh no, I can't move to there until I complete this. This is going to take long. So these are the kind of things that are happening right now on this transit. What I suggest, take a digital detox. Allow yourself to be with your own thoughts. Stare at the wall. It's actually quite a good way of daydreaming, and then allowing the imagination to serve you. Open your mind for those downloads. Anita, how are you experiencing this? I know it's only early days, but still, I think it's a lovely energy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I enjoy this energy as well. And with this gate 24, it's important that we realize, or I would take this deeper this week, simply because while the gate 24 and 44 are the sun and earth, we also have the gate 45, 21 defined this week. 45 defined by Jupiter and the gate 21 by Mercury. So this is money energy. So as Juliet said, open up to the possibilities and, go with them to the point that they might not be the end game. But with the money energy and manifesting and this energy, what can happen is you can get stuck in a mindset rut of, oh no, I've no money, oh no, I've no money, I can't see where it's coming from. And that gate 24, you'll rationalize why you've no money, the whole story around it. So this week, because it's Jupiter and Mercury defining this money energy, it's how you talk about money is really important. How you think about it, how old patterns can impact how our old results can impact the results that you're getting now. If you say, oh, the last time I did this, it didn't work, there's no point in doing it again. So this week, it's very much open up. We're in new moon energy still at the moment. Open up to the possibilities of seeing the money coming without getting tied into where it's going to come from. I can't tell you how many times that things happened for us that we couldn't see the money. And a really good example is, and I hope I haven't said this before, we were buying a house many years ago. We were in England. We didn't have a credit score yet. We had just moved over. And I have a rule of thumb. If it's more expensive to buy than to rent, I rent, and vice versa, right? So we had put our bid in for a house. It had been accepted. And about 3 days before the close, the bank rang us and said, look, sorry, guys, you're a high risk. We're going to up the mortgage by 10 grand. And to us at the time, 10 grand was like 10 million. It was as inaccessible to us as that, right? So we were there, oh crap, what are we going to do? And I didn't know any of this stuff then. And I was there, look, this is our house. I know this is our house. So something's going to happen to make it okay. Well, within 24 hours, Larry's work deposited 10 grand by accident into his account. It was an expense check, right? Landed it into the account. And when the bank managers were assessing our account again, they were there, oh, these guys were able to pull up 10 grand over 24 hours. Okay. And then gave us a note to say, hey, we've decided to leave the mortgage terms as they are. And this is we've decided, that you're fine. Go ahead with the close the deal. 24 hours later, Larry's work rang him, totally apologetic, going, "We're so sorry. We put in 10 grand into your account by accident." And we were there going, "That's okay. That's no problem." you know, so it's ridiculous kind of possibilities of money when you stop latching on to how it has to come in, right? This is the same with your business. Just don't get so tied into the past results determining your future. You know, what worked in the past to determine your future. I mean, this is superb energy. Now, we also have this square. Well, the square is kind of coming out now, but we also have Mars opposite Pluto, which puts an energy of this, of where you might start rationalizing not to take control. You are rationalizing why you should control everything. And I would say, allow yourself to step into the center of that, and get into the balance of where are you actually in control and where are you not, and use that to determine your ask for your manifesting. So this is a huge week this week. The possibilities are endless, and what I've given is a superb example of how to utilize this energy correctly. uh,
Absolutely. I love how you were talking about trusting, because the trust is really, and the gate 44 is the gate of trust, and the fear of the past is its shadow. So being stuck in the past, something didn't work out before doesn't mean it's not going to work out. Something that, even if you got hurt, even if you have traumas around something, that's the past. The past you can't change, but the future hasn't been defined. So don't project the past, and this comes with the inability sometimes to trust. So I think it's really good to be aware of that, because it doesn't mean, so for example, if your spleen is undefined, you don't naturally have that ability. You will have to decondition from your pains, from fears, from traumas. But if you're aware of it, even if you're fully caught up in all your traumas, if you're aware that your undefined spleen is sort of subjecting you more to that, this is where the work needs to be done. Do the work. Don't be a victim. That's how you take control. It's like, recognize these things, the past things, as what they are. They're things that happened in the past. But the past cannot change. The future hasn't been defined. And the only truth is in the now. And right now, you can just allow yourself for these insights, imagination, and stop when you're thinking that you're fixating or rationalizing over things that you can't change or you can't have control over. Because you can't have control over where the money comes from, even sometimes when you know where the money might come from. How many times do we expect money to come in from a source and it just doesn't happen? Something happens. So I think it's kind of, in a way, either way is bad. So just leaving that whole area, make it worry free, make it, if you can, because it's the mindset thing. When you're in a survival mindset and you're really, struggling about, or not struggling, but fixating or rationalizing why you don't have money, why you can't have that, where can you get the money? That's the survival energy that actually never helps to flourish. I find that when I slide into that kind of thinking, there's never a way out of it. I have to find myself to separate from the thinking first. Then I'm opening this, I'm like a magnet for abundance or a magnet for good things to happen, but I can't bank on it. I just had literally, we started this when we came, to record, started this conversation because my book went on #1 on Amazon on several categories, but I actually didn't feel like I did any work. I sent my list an email, telling that there's a book welcoming to download, and, a couple more things. I didn't actually do that much work. I was quite sick over the weekend, if I'm honest with you. I just didn't have any energy. And then it started. So I was literally open to receive. And I felt internally this, I describe this feeling as almost not caring. So you separate from the outcome so much that I almost don't care. Now, I don't have a defined will. When you have a defined will, your approach will be different because it's the volition. It might not be your authority. You might have a different, like you might have an emotional authority, like Anita, but you do have a defined will, don't you?
yeah,
So
yeah,
your volition is important, like you wanting something is important in your manifestation. Whereas in my case, I have to not care because I have a completely open will center. I need to be separate from caring and then being open to receive anything in any form. And so, this morning I thought, okay, it's a few days since I launched the book and it's still number one in so many categories. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
going on? But
No,
again, I'm just trying to be disconnected from, latching on, because that's not a very healthy energy. So just sharing how I how I
that's
personally do it.
perfect there, actually. I think that is brilliant. And congratulations on the book, by the way. I
Thank
forgot.
you.
I was so excited by what I wanted to say that but yeah, congratulations. And it is a great book. And for any of you who want to, you know, crack your crack the nut of your marketing once and for all. Juliet has really good insights with respect to marketing your way, and using your design to do that, which I think just makes it so much more flow. But there was one thing I wanted to mention there, follow on with your point, not caring. I think that is really critical, that it's a detachment you're talking about, that I'm detached from the result. I'm not I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with if it doesn't happen, I'm okay if it does happen. What I noticed recently, and this is literally throwing out as a point, is that when my client starts, and I might say it myself, oh, I can't be bothered. I that's a very different energy to detached.
Mm.
So I'm not in, I don't care. I'm not interested is very different to I don't care. I'm good with the result either way. The one energy is bringing the universe in, saying, yeah, well, if you're not bothered, you're not bothered. Let's take it away.
Mm.
Opposed to detached, I'm open to whatever result comes. I'm open to receiving. Now the energy can move into your space, or the money, or the opportunity. I just wanted to say that because it's just the subtleties are so fine. There's such fine adjustments that can be the
Yes.
difference of the tap dripping or the tap flowing. And you just described it there beautifully. I just wanted to highlight it because it
That
is.
is actually really, really cool. And I will add to that because I feel like this is something I preach. Focusing within. For example, with my book, if I was very tired. I did so much. I edited my first book, and then on the back of that, because I was on the ball and I thought, I'm a projector. I don't have consistent energy even with things I love. I need to, go and do it. And I couldn't believe that I finished the second book that was there, kind of waiting to be a couple of chapters needed to be finished and editing. And I got exhausted. I got exhausted so much. I don't remember being this exhausted after a project. So when it came to publishing it, I actually took a whole week just because I just couldn't even think about it. But the difference between like I'm not bothered or when I came back, you have to restore your energy first. You have to do when you are not I don't mean completely in 100%, but you can't run on empty. You have to go back to the operation zone. For me, it's like 60 to 80% is good enough. I can kind of then do something. And that's where I was. And so then it was more about self recognition. So I've written a book, I've posted it. It took actually days to publish, to be, like reviewed by Amazon, especially the Kindle. I already had the paperbacks and everything live, but the Kindle was just still pending. And that gave me a chance to just relax, come back into my own thing, and then recognize myself for the accomplishment that I did. Because at the end of the day, I have to first recognize that I have done this. That is the energy where I can detach from the result because I did it for myself, even more so than for who this book will then inspire. That's in a way, it's none of my business because I cannot control it. And I can only hope and wish, but I can't bank on it. I can't now grab onto this. Oh, I did this for the others. No, I did this actually for myself because I needed to express something. So I did. And that is the level, that is where the detachment happens. It's when you're still focused within. I really love this idea of being in your own cocoon because the moment you start focusing on them too much or on the results too much or on the outcome too much, you're breaking that cocoon and all the goodness whooshes out and you feel out of control. And a lot of, every time when I like to talk about this cocoon analogy with clients and I can see in their faces, they're all nodding because we felt like this. We've been there. The moment you start, waiting on an external factor to either waiting on someone's action or some sort of result, it's such a disempowering state to be. So I don't want to be like this. And I try to be in my cocoon as much as I can. And you know what? Just because I was in that cocoon and I thought, okay, now I have to promote, and it's not that I'm not bothered, but I'm tired and all this. And then the number one happened so fast. I didn't need to do the hard work of promoting later. Now I can do it at my own pace. And actually, the same thing happened with the first book. So it's about that kind of detachment. Recognize yourself because you did it. Pat yourself on the back. It doesn't matter if the world does the same thing to you or not. You need to recognize you did something. That is where the magnetism, I think, starts from your own thing. So we will leave you at that, guys. Again, a lot of mental energy. Try and channel it for your own future growth and goodness and ability to receive, especially that we have the money line channel activated now
Yes.
as well. So whatever insights are coming, you know, tune in with your authority. Is that's for you? Because you will sense, you know, like I with my third book, I know this is a good thing. So then you can just spend a little bit of mental energy this transit, and then whenever time comes, you will feel it. You can go and get it done, and it will be done in the most perfect moment for it. So trust your journey. We will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. And for now, goodbye.